This is Mr. White. Mr. White is a professional advisor. He's good at his job and has worked hard over the years to build up a solid clientele. This is Mr. Green. Mr. Green is a client of Mr. White's. Mr. Green has been with Mr. White for several years, through good times and bad, and is very satisfied with their relationship. Like most professionals, Mr. White wants more referrals to keep his business growing and profitable. So he asks Mr. Green to refer him to any people he might know. This is Mr. Green's direct network of friends and acquaintances, the people he talks to on a regular basis. These are the people most likely to be referred if the opportunity to do so arises. Within this group, some are at a point where they are considering the need for some advice. However, at this point in time, that need is still internalized. If Mr. Green was talking to his advisor right now, he would say he doesn't know anyone who could use some advice. Because Mr. Green can't read his friends' minds, what we can safely say is that Mr. White can only reach those with a need that has progressed from internalized to verbalized, and it takes a certain amount of time for that to happen. Fortunately, one of Mr. Green's friends is at such a point. His need has been growing, and he has begun to want to do something about it. His name is Mr. Red, and his need is now verbalized. Mr. Red, like most people, won't discuss his problems with just anyone. He'll only tell someone he is close with and trusts. However, Mr. Green will only be able to make a recommendation to Mr. Red if he hears the need verbalized. In this instance, he does, and Mr. Green is able to help his friend by recommending his professional advisor. In order for Mr. Red to act upon that referral, he must respect his friend's opinion enough to follow it. Even though Mr. Green's recommendation goes a long way, the advisor, Mr. White, must still first build a rapport, then a relationship with Mr. Red, the potential client, before the referral is successful. This is the method Mr. White relies on for gaining client referrals. It takes time and is unpredictable. Now let's look at another method for generating referrals. This is Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue is a social advisor. The only difference between Mr. White and Mr. Blue is that Mr. Blue is using social media. Mr. Blue also has a client named Mr. Green. In this instance, Mr. Green has also been a client of Mr. Blue's for several years and is satisfied with their relationship. This is Mr. Green's social network, the people he connects with online. Unlike the direct network, Mr. Green's social network is a general hub of people that he knows: friends, family, work colleagues, acquaintances, business associates, and old school friends. People that he doesn't necessarily talk to every day, but wants to stay in touch with. Just like the direct network, there are a number of individuals here who are considering the need for some professional advice. However, unlike the direct network, the social network is much larger and more diverse. In fact, the average Facebook user has 130 friends. Within 2 degrees of separation, friends of friends, that's 10,000 in the social network of one individual just through Facebook alone. Because of this deceptively slight difference, Mr. Blue has created a game-changing opportunity for himself that Mr. White does not have. You see, Mr. Blue now has access to Mr. Green's network and can sow the seeds for referral before the person's need is verbalized. The consequence for Mr. White is Mr. Red no longer has a reason to verbalize his need because he has already found a solution in Mr. Blue. The social advisor does not rely on a client's networking or sales skill for this to happen. Here's how it works. Every interaction between their social realms, every positive comment Mr. Green shares about Mr. Blue's ability, is broadcast into Mr. Green's social network. Those in this network who have an internalized need see this broadcast and now have an opportunity to connect with Mr. Blue. What this means for Mr. Blue is access to a wider range of potential clients and a more effective way to develop a relationship with them before they even decide to seek out advice. There are no awkward discussions required for this referral process to take place. The potential client needs only to respect Mr. Green and his opinions. In this environment, Mr. Blue can express his personality and ideas, demonstrating the characteristics which make him unique and valuable to the network he creates around his business. As each client's social network grows, so do the opportunities for Mr. Blue. Mr. Blue now has more time as he makes multiple relationship contacts with just the click of a button. He no longer relies on the networking skills of his clients, and he has a focused means of generating consistent growth. Mr. White, on the other hand, doesn't realize the world has changed and increasingly struggles with new business as he loses his potential referrals to social advisors. The paradigm has already changed. Are you ready to be social?